Like, I've never ever agreed with any child making medical decisions, regardless if it was transition or not.
Hmm. That's
Like,
right.
I just don't agree with it. And
Right.
now there's a medical age of consent of 13,
Oh,
and it's just like, really? Okay, so how how far are we going to push this to where essentially the whole society is killed off?
hey, everybody. I got myself another one. I know you're going to be excited for this one. I am. So, before we move forward, remember, like, subscribe, click that button, bell thing, whatever it's going on here. I totally appreciate all of you watching and listening and commenting on all of my amazing guests. So, this afternoon, I have Audrie, who's a trans woman. And I don't know much about Audrie because, like I say, I always come into these a little bit and sort of like not knowing. I think it gives, for me, a better interview. And also, I want to learn about you along with, my listeners. So, hi, Audrie. Nice to meet you, friend.
Nice to meet you.
So, why don't you go ahead and, first off, just introduce yourself a little bit of what you want everybody to know, and then we'll get going.
Well, for starters, I am a transsexual woman. Um, I have been on hormones since 2018, and I'm actually in the process of starting breast augmentation. So I'm in the process still, but I understand more about myself now than I feel like I did when I started. Um, so it's interesting to see how everything has been playing out. But besides the point, I am also losing my eyesight. um,
Okay.
I have
Wow.
retinopathy of prematurity,
Okay. So,
and
are you actually blind, or you're like, are you legally blind right now?
yes,
Oh, you are.
as
Okay.
of as of Friday, I can only see about 3 feet in front of me.
Oh gosh, wow. That's so fascinating. I don't know if you say I'm sorry, or you know what I mean? Like, it's a
I, I've
very,
I've
yeah.
lived with it for so long. It's a degenerative eye condition.
Okay. Right.
Um, so I mean, I kind of knew it was going to happen.
Hmm.
It was just a matter of time. Um, but it's definitely
Progressed.
yeah, and it's definitely provided me a lot of grief.
Of
But
course. Yeah. Sorry. I'm very, so when did it start? When did you start sort of noticing that your eyesight was going away?
um, about 5 years ago, I
Oh,
noticed
wow.
more changes than the doctors do.
Oh, well, I think to me that makes sense because it's you who's seeing.
Mm.
They're just sort of looking at it, right? Yeah. Do you, let me ask you this. Do you think the hormones, are they playing a part in any of this, or not at all?
You know, that's a good question because I was actually thinking about that these past couple weeks.
Yeah.
Because I take spironolactone as
Hmm.
well, and um, that causes dehydration, and I need to be drinking a lot of water as is with the inflammation that's in my eye. Uh, so I think there's probably some sort of effect indirectly. Um,
Yeah, for sure. I think so. I mean, I just know from my own health and just putting testosterone in my body how it has affected my health on some level. Um, so you started transitioning in 2018, my friend, and when it, so what what was the sort of deciding factor for you to start to transition? Was it just
um, I've I've literally always believed that I was a woman, like regardless. Like,
yeah, right, right,
and
right.
when everyone was just like, "Oh no, you're gay," like I'm just like, "What? No, that's definitely not me." Like, cool if you are, but like, cool, not me.
Right.
I mean, over time, I've realized I'm bisexual, but that, cool.
Yeah.
But that decision or just feeling of being a woman never left. It never did.
Right.
And I finally went to therapy. I was just like, what the hell is going on? Like,
Well, yeah, that's what therapist is
why?
for. Yeah.
Yeah. And luckily I had a really good therapist, and she was just like, what if you're just a feminine guy? It's totally cool to be just a gay guy. You don't feel like it's fits you, but what if that's just it? And I'm just like, no, no, I don't believe it. And like, even with all the relationships that I've had, like, I never, like, I was attracted to guys, yes, cool, but I never thought of myself as gay, ever.
Right. No, I totally
Never.
get it. I
So
the same. Yeah.
I was just like, all right, this isn't my vibe.
Right. Well, I mean,
And
I want to say though, your therapist, I think, is great because your therapist gave you these they're like, well, you could just be a gay person as opposed to saying, okay, you're trans, move forward. I
mhm.
think therapy does need to have some of this nuance pushback
Yes, I
space
believe
because
so too.
thank you for saying that because these
Because
look at what we're doing. We're doing such drastic change on our bodies.
and so quickly, and
That's
it's
right.
just like
That's right.
I I I'm still trying to find a good therapist since I've moved, but I've definitely held strong the values that my previous therapist had given me, and that's taken me so far. And just
Great.
listening to what you have put out as well, and what Blair has put out, like, it's definitely allowed me to speak more on the topic. And like, I've never ever agreed with any child making medical decisions, regardless if it was transition or not.
Hmm. That's
Like,
right.
I just don't agree with it. And
Right.
now there's a medical age of consent of 13,
Oh,
and it's just like, really? Okay, so how how far are we going to push this to where essentially the whole society is killed off?
wow. Yeah, that's a very, very profound statement. And a lot of us see it. But as you know, a lot of us don't get the opportunity to speak up about it because we get called names or, oh, we're
Hmm.
transphobic. Even though we're both trans people, for us saying this is considered like you are going against all trans people. It's so
Hmm.
bizarre. Isn't it bizarre?
Yes,
I,
very much
I,
so.
I don't understand why we don't agree with transitioning little kids. Why is that an issue? And so they want to believe it, they can. I don't, I'm just saying I don't agree with you. And I
Right.
can show you a lot of statistics,
Yep,
right?
there's
And
a
now they're
lot of
showing.
evidence out there for sure. And
That's right.
everyone wants to sit here and be like, "Oh, transitioning kid is not happening." Have you not done the research? Have you have you not used Google lately? Like,
No, for real. I'm laughing because, it's just so absurd.
it
Beyond
is.
belief.
It
Beyond
is.
belief.
Everyone, like, I feel like everyone on the far left wants to be like, "Oh, do your research," but
Yep,
they're
yep,
only reading the headlines.
yep. That's right. Or they only listen to what the community says, right?
Exactly.
The minute you,
Hearsay is
yep,
fact now.
that's right. No evidence and facts are not considered like facts.
Right.
I mean, we have all the facts, and now we have people whistleblowing, right, on the whole system. And then they're saying, that's been debunked. You can't debunk an actual real person's actual real experience in this
Exactly.
space. How dare you? And also, we care about the kids. I don't think it's that we're coming to this. Well, we're not. We're not coming to it in a way that says we care. Of course we want these kids to be happy and
Right.
successful, but transitioning is not a space for kids. This is
Mm,
forever.
exactly. That's something. even like the friends that I've connected with recently that are trans, like they've
Yeah.
been on hormones for like 9 months, and they're like, oh yeah, I just have to take this until this time. Like, what? Wait, hold on. What are you talking about?
Right.
Your doctor didn't tell you that this is a lifelong thing, and they looked at me all crazy with deer in the headlights, and I'm just like, wow, no, this is a lifelong decision. You're stuck on this.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. I mean, what's wrong with everybody? Like, this is not a joke. If it helps you and it moves you forward,
Then great.
fantastic. Fantastic. Tell me a little bit about, if you want, where you were born and raised.
I was born in Spokane, Washington. I moved
Okay.
around,
Yeah.
here, there, everywhere. My
Okay. Sure.
family was military, so we only
Okay.
stayed in one spot for every 3 years or so.
Right.
And so I kind of got to see different parts of the country and how they interact. And I actually lived in Germany for 3 years. That was
Wow.
amazing, and I didn't want to come back.
Yeah. Don't blame you.
Their food was like so much better. I came back. I was just like, oh, this is so not up to par.
Well, it's real. I mean, the food in America is a bit much.
Oh, but
Wow.
now I, I moved around myself after that. I graduated high school here in Spokane, and then I left home to figure out just to get away from majority of my family because like I don't know,
Okay.
like I love them, but I
Sure.
love them from a distance.
Well, I
I have
think,
too much on my plate to deal
yeah.
with their stuff. Like,
Well, I think that's smart. That's very mature of you. You got to take care of yourself before anybody else. So I'm assuming you get a little pushback from your family.
no, not much anymore.
Mm.
Actually, when I first started my transition, I was totally like, yeah, I was totally lived out for sure. For sure. I can't, I can definitely be aware of that.
Yeah.
So I was very like aggressive when it came to my transition in my family, and they were just like, you know, if you mellowed out, we'd probably appreciate you more. Just saying.
Just, just like calm.
Like, chill out. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. Like, it's a learning process. It was a learning process for you. Why wouldn't you think it was a learning process for us? Which,
Actually, that's really sweet to say that to you. I'm gonna say it sounds to me like they actually really wanted to try to find that space that they could accept you.
yeah, and at the time I was very like, oh no, you don't. Like, it's, you just don't hear me, whatever. And now I'm just like, okay, I'm letting that go. Like, I get it. I get it.
Well,
Totally.
yeah, yeah. It's hard, that it's hard. Families are having to deal with us becoming other
And
people.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah,
it's a death for them.
that's right. That's right.
Like,
Thank you.
and I didn't put that together until about 2 years ago, and I was just like, wow, no wonder why this person is struggling, and this person is struggling, and this person is struggling. Like, because just dealing with my own stuff and connecting my blindness with my transition in some regards, and like, it's all a bunch of grief. Like, so
Yeah.
I had to make that connection and like be like, okay, cool. Like, we're all just doing the best we can.
Right. That's right. But I think it's important for people to hear these kinds of stories because everyone has problems pretty much with their family when they transition.
Mm,
It's not just one person or one kind of person. I think
no.
it's a very
And
personal.
even, sorry to cut you off. I don't mean to cut you
No,
off.
no, go. Yeah,
Even the ones that love you and care about you the most still struggle with it. Like,
that's right.
it's not just the people that, oh, I'll never call you this name because that's not who you
Right.
are. It's the people that are closest to you and love you the most that struggle with it the most.
That, because what you just said, also they're losing. Like for me, they lost their daughter, and weren't prepared to have this son.
Mm.
And and also most people don't really understand this dysphoria. They've never felt it, they never will. They cannot get an understanding of why would you want to become a woman when you're this, handsome man and you're doing all this stuff, and they're like, what do you? So I think that's why I try to talk to the young generation. Stop being so mean to your family.
Yeah.
You gotta have compassion for this. We're all going through it, not just you. Everyone in your circle is going through your transition. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Although the people that I don't necessarily have a past with, I don't necessarily give them a pass.
well, yeah, that's a different situation.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, if people don't want to get on board, that's their own problem. But I do think connecting to your immediate family is on some level, unless they're totally being complete haters, you got to disconnect from that. It's,
Yeah. Like,
yeah,
but
yeah,
back to what you were saying, like, yeah, my mother, like, I love my mother to death. Like, I I didn't meet her until I was 14. And and like up until then I was just like I was just like I need to know who she is, like, and
yeah,
slowly we've been able to build a relationship. It has taken a lot of time just because of the amount of time we've lost, but
yeah, yeah.
um it's definitely a work in progress. But recently she has finally come around and actually just called me her daughter, which had
Wow.
it stopped me in my tracks and made me cry. And like the people that I was with, they were like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" And I was just like,
Yeah.
My mom just called me her daughter, and she was struggling with that for years. And like now, me and her are like closer than ever now
Oh
because
my
like
God.
I I want to make sure she's okay, and she wants to make sure I'm okay. Like I probably text her probably every other day now, like
Oh my God. That's so
if not
beautiful.
weekly.
No,
Like,
I mean, that's all I ever really want to see, these connections with families, because this is how you have a great transition. When your people around you are rooting for you and respecting you, it just makes your transition and so much more. I just think that's such a beautiful story. I'm so happy for you.
thank you.
I mean, that's everything. It is. It makes your transition easier when your family
Yes,
is like sort of on board with you, and making that effort, that leap your mom just made from calling you her son to calling you her daughter is huge.
yes,
Like game
and
changing.
and not to necessarily share her business, which but she had lost a child before me. Um,
Mm,
so I can definitely see where that struggle was even more harder for her.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so I,
sure.
I commend her and I love the hell out of her for it because, like, I'm just trying to support her just as much as she is me. So,
That's right. That's your compassion that you have. That's what I. This is great. People are going to see this, and not all trans people are insane and like hate everybody, and don't want to have anything to do with
no,
cisgender people. And
I'm
you,
all about connection and
I know I can feel it from
community.
you.
And, like, if there's a difference of opinion at the table, sure, let's have it. Like,
That's right.
but we're definitely going to come to a compromise if I'm at the table because I'm not going to let bullshit just run free. Honestly, like I know,
Right on.
like every like I see it in the community almost every day, and I'm just like, why are we shoving blame on one another when we need to start just making the steps to be better ourselves and do better ourselves?
Excellent. So yeah, that's going to take me into the next sort of questions. I think we connected on Instagram or one of
Mm-hmm.
the apps because we are very like-minded, I think, around this new community sort of. I call it very toxic community. I don't see what you just said, where, we're allowed to be different in this community, but it's not celebrated and
Mm-mm.
we're not allowed to have different opinions. We all have to say the same words and the same
Exactly.
way of being. It's bizarre behavior. So yeah, I kind of want to get into your head around all of that as a trans woman and as a black trans woman. I think this narrative around black trans women. It's a different experience. Clearly, anybody of color is going to have a different experience than me. But now you're taking it to another level when you're transitioning on some level, right?
I mean, yes and no. I mean,
I'm being respectful here,
I mean,
and you know that
yeah, I
I'm
know,
not trying
I
to
know,
I'm not trying to say, oh, you know how I feel about it.
I
I also
know.
think these kind of things are horrible because it separates us again, like black trans women
Yes,
here,
exactly,
white people here. Like
exactly.
I hate
I,
it. I hate it.
it just brings a
Yeah.
smile to my face because I was totally thinking about that interview, um, with the other person. Don't want to name names, but
I know what you're talking
um,
about.
but
Yeah.
anyways,
We'll just do
uh, I like majority of the differences for me was primarily just I don't know, people feel like I have to like fit some sort of image, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'm transitioning, being myself, finding myself, like figuring out what my fashion style is. Like I go from comfy to professional to classy to like I have a wide diaspora of clothing. And um everyone wants to be like, oh, you need to do this, you need to dress a certain way. And I'm just like, okay, well, I do my best to pass as much as I can, and as a blind person, I say I do a pretty damn good job.
Right on, friend.
So
And
I'm like you said, I'm gonna let people believe and think what they want because I know who I am. Like I'm not
right on.
going to sit here and wallow over some stranger calling me sir. Like I'm never gonna meet them again. I'm not gonna
Excellent.
waste my energy, waste my motivation, waste any sort of emotion on that because
Excellent.
it's
Yeah, because
pointless.
you can't change everybody's mind. I think
No.
you
And the
can't. And what are you
people,
gonna do? Cry over it?
exactly, and the people that will see it, like, as far as my effort going into my transition, will know. And they'll
That's
be
right.
respectful.
That's
Like,
right.
I go about my life very peacefully. I'm not, I don't want chaos. I don't want animosity. I mean, I know there's going to be some animosity and I'm going to have to deal with that, but majority of the time, I don't deal with stupid.
Right. Thank you. So with that, what's happening in our community that it's so some of the stuff that comes out, the attacks on cisgender people, the attacks on, anyone that doesn't get on board with the narrative from the trans world. It's upsetting for me as an older transsexual man who transitioned such a long time ago to see some of the narratives coming out of our community that just don't resonate with why I transitioned. Like, so for example, that all 10-year-olds know if they're trans or not. I'm
N-
like, what?
no, because
How
they
would
want to be a superhero the next day.
so you clearly don't believe transitioning of children is an actual thing, or do you?
I don't believe that it should be happening, and
That's what I
I
believe.
believe that honestly, with every social movement that uses children as a centerpiece, like downright immoral.
That's right. I totally
I
agree with
don't
you.
care what demographic. I don't care
Yep.
what group of
Yep.
people. Like
Yep.
if you're using any child for any sort of social movement and are gaining from it, meaning profits and
There you
fame
go. Yep.
and admiration, like it's all a farce. Like look
Yeah.
at what BLM just did.
these movements, they get captured and they capture people, and then everyone just, it's a good idea, the Black Lives. To me, I think it is a good idea. It's like educating people, but it got derailed into this weird
Totally. Totally.
space.
And where did all that money go that everyone donated to for
Oh
the
my God.
community? Like, where did that
Oh
all
my
go?
God. My
To
God. How
mansions.
sick. Disgusting.
To
Sad.
mansions.
So let's lay that over top trans stuff, right? Because they're making a lot of money on,
Yes,
right? Who's getting
everywhere.
that money? That's right.
Everywhere you go, it's trans this, trans that. Nothing gay, nothing bi, nothing lesbian.
That's right.
All
That's
trans
right.
all the
All
time.
trans. All trans all the time. Right on. It's actually real and really weird
It
and creepy. I
is.
don't like,
It's so
as a
creepy.
trans person, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like seeing a trans flag in
Did,
every
did
single
you ever did
Starbucks.
you I don't know if your generation has ever like used the term trans tracer or tranny tracer or whatever.
Nope.
Well,
That came later.
okay, well, that's definitely
Yeah,
what's happening now. Like
that's
just
right.
in a
That's right.
multitude, and I'm just like, really? Wow. All right. Everyone wants to jump on the
Yeah.
bandwagon. Like,
But that's scary
yes.
because this is an actual disorder we have. When
Yes.
I really feel like our disorder has been hijacked to
Totally.
become this identity
Yes.
choice. Like, this isn't a choice you and I made. It's literally our disorder that we have to fix in order to get back into this world. That's why it's so important for people to see your voice and to understand that, there's a lot of us out here who find our, I don't know if the word's resentful, but it's, we're just like, what? This is not what transitioning is for.
Yeah, it completely, like, just throws mud in the face of every single transsexual that is transitioning, including myself, because, like, I actually take the effort to do what I need to do to transition. And then I see people on social media and that I was friends with in the past claiming to be non-binary and, oh, I'm so femme today. Oh, I'm so masked today. Like, what the hell are you even talking about?
Can you imagine if today I feel like this, but tomorrow I'm wearing a dress?
Like,
Like, what?
no, that wouldn't work, Buck. That wouldn't work.
Not for me, definitely not. I love that you're saying that because I say it all the time. Non-binary is not trans, and it's not that I'm
Right, right.
anti-non-binary. I'm not. Be whatever you want to be. I don't really care. But don't equate it with what you and I have,
Exactly.
which is we've accepted our disorder. We've accepted what we need to do. We
Like, I
medicalized
wouldn't I
ourselves.
wouldn't have
Yeah.
made the decision to transition if I didn't have gender dysphoria.
Thank you.
Like,
So why do you think people are now transitioning? Why would so? I guess my question to you is, and just a question: why do you think somebody would want to transition who doesn't have gender dysphoria?
because they think we're happier.
Wow. So you think that they're doing it to sort of come on board, like to
I
be a
think
part of a
so.
group of people, right? Right.
And I
That's why
and
they
I
took gender dysphoria
right,
out.
and I also think it's honestly in some sort of fashion Munchausen syndrome.
I agree with the kids and the
Yes.
parents. I do think Munchausen. I do. I see it. They get so angry when I push on them, and they're like, ah, they're like rabid dogs at me. I'm gonna kill you. I'm like, I'm trans. You can't talk to me like
Right?
that.
Like, so
Wait a
so
minute.
you're gonna threaten the transsexual person that's trying to help your kid avoid
That's
transition
right.
and
That's right.
what?
Doesn't make sense at all. If they really, but I do also believe parents are being put into a weird
Yes.
space, right? They're telling parents weird stuff like, oh, your child will kill
That's
themselves,
a
or
huge
you
problem
have
for
to do
me,
this.
especially as a suicide survivor.
Oh gosh, I know. Me
Like,
too. And it's not something to be taken
and
so
I
lightly or to
see it
just,
all over social media. Oh, go kill yourself. Go
yeah.
kill yourself. Like,
Oh my
seriously?
God.
Like, not towards
Oh my
me, but
God.
like,
Yeah. No, they've
just
told me, trans people have told me to go kill
I
myself.
I've had a couple people that told me to go kill myself, and I'm just like, no. I've been at that place before. I know what it's
Yep.
like. I
Yep.
don't need it again.
Yep.
And actually, I recently got assist trained, so I can actually help others dealing with that.
Fantastic.
So, like, it's very important to me. And the fact that people are just slinging these really heavy, hurtful words at people. And everyone wants to say, oh, don't use hurtful words, don't use harmful words. Look at the language that you're using. Talk about a
That's
huge
right.
hypocrite.
Oh my gosh, my friend, they are insane. They literally spew stuff, but then like diversity, inclusion, love, accepting of everyone, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
just
let's
they,
constantly tell everyone we're oppressed by the color of their skin when they're making great money.
oh my god, and then there's that. We're all oppressed.
Like,
It's
that
oh my
that that
gosh,
bugs
man.
me. Like, it really does.
Me
Like,
too.
why,
Yeah, I can't imagine.
like, let alone, like, I'm making good money for a blind black person in America, let
Right
alone
on.
me being
Right on.
trans. Like, that's null and void. Like, I don't care. Like, my transition is mine, not anyone else's, mine. So I
Right.
don't factor that into my employment and whatever. But I
That's
believe my
right.
values speak more so than the color of my skin and my disability. And honestly, I've proven a lot of sighted people wrong just based off of me doing the work that I do as a blind person.
Yeah. That's so. What kind of work are you doing? Can you talk about that a little, or is it private?
Not
I mean, you don't have to say
necessarily.
exactly.
It's not
Yeah.
necessarily private. I I work for a Center for Independent Living.
Great.
So
Great.
I help people with
Great.
disabilities be more independent in their
Excellent.
lives, um,
Oh,
and
wonderful.
help with accessibility issues. I
Excellent.
actually not well, kind of associated with my job, but not really.
Mm,
But I'm associated with the National Federation of the Blind,
oh,
and we actually just got back from Washington, D.C. last week advocating for legislation um, for blind Americans. And
great.
it's been so rewarding. I've been wanting to be in a nonprofit for a while, um,
Mm,
and to be able to give back to my community, disabled community, like,
great.
is very meaningful to me. Like, I want to be able to do the best that I can, and although that's a struggle right now, just because there's a lot of speed bumps and whatnot in the
Of
way.
course.
Uh, Vision loss has been a very big factor in that. But anyways, what was your
Yeah.
question?
No, 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 not anyways. I think that's very important. What you're the work. First off, what the work you're doing is so great. Thank you for doing that. Really, that it is, and also being part of the disabled community and speaking up for that is so. Trans isn't your whole
No,
life. I think is what I'm trying to see here. Yeah, which is beautiful and amazing. How do people treat you in the in that space that's not trans? How do people like react that find out you're trans or
pretty respectfully for the most part,
brilliant? Brilliant.
because I'm
Of course, there's always going to be that
right,
one asshole.
right, right. But I kind of just like bite my tongue because it's just like it's not that big of a deal to me. Like, it's not. People
Right.
see what they want to see, so it's fine.
I love your attitude. I'm honestly, it's such a beautiful, refreshing. It's refreshing for me to see a trans woman speak like you, who's like, look, so what? People are going to have issues. It's you can't change the whole world.
No.
It's not possible. You can only change what you can change, and being present and being out there actually doing the work.
Mm.
I'm commending you. You're doing the work
Oh,
that a lot of
thank
other
you.
people in this community won't do. Well, they won't. They just want everything handed to them.
I'm not
Like,
like that.
here's my PayPal.
I'm
I
not
know.
like
Clearly,
that.
you're not.
Definitely not.
Clearly, you're
Like,
not.
honestly, honestly, half like half the
It's
stuff that
funny.
I do, I don't get paid for. Like,
It even
so
says more about you. It says more about
it
you because, yeah,
like, I do it because I care. I want to better our community, like, whether that be the trans community, LGBT
brilliant.
community. Like, I would like us to be more logical
Of
and
course.
critical thinking rather than, oh, let's
Yep.
just believe Bobby, Joe, Sally down the road.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I swear to God. So, so are there a community of blind trans people, or very rare?
Good question, because I haven't met
Yeah.
anyone else.
Yeah, I haven't either, and I've been around a long time, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, wow. Well, I guess that's kind of a good thing. So so that being said, so you work for us like to help people get out into living independently from group homes or
Yeah.
spaces like that,
Yeah.
or yeah, not being able to take care. And that could be, is it a certain demographic of people, or is it just all kinds of people that have maybe a
Any
disability,
person with a
or
disability that needs assistance in their
I
independence.
see. I see. That's just beautiful.
Although
Amazing.
we're not going to like do it for them, we're going to give them the
Right.
resources and say like step A, B, C, D is what you need to do. So make sure you take those steps necessary and then
Great.
come back and we'll connect and go over what you've possibly done or haven't
Great.
done and whatnot.
Great. Great. So wait, you transitioned in 2018, 19, that's like 5 years ago, 18,
Mm-hmm.
2019, 20. I'm so bad with math.
5 years. Wow.
So,
That's
yeah,
really weird
five
to think about,
years.
actually.
Yeah, it's a long time, 5 years. So I want to know, like, how do you feel? How does your body feel? Do you feel different? Do you feel happier?
I feel happier. My body sucks, though.
Tell me about that. What's happening?
I was recently diagnosed with bursitis in my hip
Oh no.
about 2 years ago. And I think that was, I mean, the hormones probably exacerbated it because I know, at least with male to female transitioning, cross hormones, we're prone to get osteoporosis.
That's
So
right.
I know
Yes.
that's probably coming down the pipe, but right now I'm
Yeah.
dealing with bursitis in my hip, and
God.
I also have a bunch of shoulder pain. That's besides the point. That's not even related to the hormones. That was way before the hormones. So
Okay, but do you think the hormones are creating more pain in your
yeah, I
body?
think so.
Yeah. 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 And that's the thing I want people to hear. Like, even for me, I've been 30 years on hormones,
It
and I do
it
feel
sucks because
things.
like
Yeah, for
especially in the
sure.
winter, we literally just got out of a really shitty winter, and
Yeah.
I was basically crippled.
Oh God. Yeah, you couldn't walk. I
uh,
bet it just like froze up.
yeah, my like both my hips were just like out. Like no, we're not effective for 4 months. So I was using a support cane
Oh
for most of the time.
wow, that's horrible. And so how about surgeries? Are you doing surgeries, or have you gotten there yet? Or
I'm
is that too personal? Is that too personal for me to
no, it's
ask?
fine.
I don't know. Okay.
I have a breast consultation on the 20th of March. So I haven't started like medically as far as surgeries go.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
but as far as that goes, I do plan on getting breast augmentation. Bottom surgery, not sure about yet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's again all that's personal. That's why I was just making sure it was okay for me to ask
Yeah.
that, because as you know, I don't have bottom surgery and I don't want it and I won't get it. But you know, some people think I didn't have the full sex
And from what
reassignment, but
I'm
that's not
hearing,
true.
at least with a few trans women, like they've lost sexual function. And I'm just like,
True.
I I kind of,
Like sex.
yeah, I enjoy
Right
that.
on.
Thank you. Like,
Right on. So do I. I'm like, I'm not giving this up. Are you kidding me?
like,
For a penis? Not happening.
come on, you know. I don't know if I'd be willing to do that.
I think it's smart of you, friend. Yeah, maybe that's why you're so happy. You know, it's true. I actually have had experiences with trans women who had no bottom surgery, then had it, and I watched them totally change. Now, of course, that's not every
Mm.
trans woman or person, but the ones in my experience, they even told me they wish they didn't do it because they don't have sex anymore. And I do think sex is a
It's
big part
vital.
of being happy. Yeah, it is. It's intimacy on some level.
Yes.
It's a, touchy thing. It's a thing. So this idea that we all have to change our genitals in order to be one way is just kind of weird to me. Tell me, do you have a lot of trans women friends that you hang out with?
No,
No.
no.
Just,
Most of my
well,
friends
maybe that.
are biological women, actually.
Interesting. Yeah, me too. I have friends who are trans women, but I would say that the majority of my friends base is not
And they
trans.
ask me questions, and
And
it's fine. Like, and I ask them
sure.
questions because, I again, I'm the type of person like A, I wouldn't have transitioned if I didn't have gender dysphoria, and B, I
Hmm.
also wouldn't be transitioning if I didn't respect women enough to ask them questions.
Right on. Oh God, thank you. You're a breath of fresh air. I'm not
So
kidding.
yeah, I
I mean, so what do you think about these trans women who keep saying they get their periods?
they're probably needing more therapy than they um are getting. I,
I mean,
I had some other words, but that would have been too mean. That would have been too mean. I would have been
okay. I
canceled.
know you're not canceled. I mean that whole cancel thing is cracks me up. Like, okay, here I am. You've been trying it for
Right.
years, but yeah, that's the other thing. That's why I love doing these interviews with people like you because people get to see like we get silenced because we don't believe trans women get their period, or they try to
Like
silence
it
us. I
just
guess I should say.
logically makes no sense. It really doesn't. If we've all taken anatomy and physiology and understand why transsexual people transition, then it would all make sense.
That's right.
But somewhere along the
Brilliant.
line, we just said, screw it. We don't need any of that stuff. And I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
uh, no, just no. It
Well, it's
makes the
weird.
whole community look like fools.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, that's all women want to hear from us, especially the ones who are so misogynist. They just want us to realize that we aren't, like, I'm a biological female. And I hope I don't step over your boundaries right now, but you're a biological
Right.
male,
There's
right?
no
And
changing my
yeah,
sex.
and
I
so
will never have a period. I will
that's right.
never have fallopian tubes. I will never have eggs. I'll never have a uterus,
Do you believe that we're
even though they're
having?
trying to like take women's uteruses and implant them in trans women. Like how psychotic is
It's
yes,
I mean, I'm
yes,
speechless. I'm actually I can't believe I read that and I was like, is this like one of those parody accounts? But it
no,
wasn't. It was actually
exactly.
real. Oh my gosh,
Here,
what's happening? Why
let's just lobotomize women's reproductive systems and give them to
I
men who
know.
don't need them.
Yeah, it's all
It is.
ego. It's like an ego-based space that is so bizarre. Like they just want to run over women. And I'm sure as a trans woman, you just have a respect for women. That I can see that you don't need to do those
Mm,
things in order to quote unquote be a woman, right? You just don't need to do that. It sounds you have the That's what women want. Exactly what you're doing. That's all they ask
exactly.
for. Just respect us. We're different than you. You're different than me. We respect you as a trans woman. It's not an issue. But who are these trans women that are so insane? And where did they come from?
Um, I have no idea. Like, I have no
It's
idea. I
weird.
feel like everyone wants to be trans and they don't realize that it's an opening of a new chapter, not the end of a book.
Mhm. Thank you. Beautiful. Very well said. That's right. It's just, another part of your life, but it doesn't mean you have to override everybody else's. How do you feel as a Do you feel accepted being who you
Yeah,
are, where you're at in your
yeah.
life? Yeah. And you're black, and you're trans, and you're blind. Should I go? I don't. And you have bursitis in your. Oh my God, it's so great! And look at the attitude you have, which is so beautiful to see.
I'm literally a walking miracle. Like literally, like
Right
my
on.
dad has told me since day one, since I was born, like I was a walking miracle. I was born at 21 weeks. I shouldn't even be here. So the
Wow.
fact that I'm
Wow.
doing the things that I'm doing, trying to help my community, like this past year and a half has been such a blessing for me. And I can only return that, to my community, like any form of it, black, blind, disabled, what have you, like every community. Like I want to help everyone, not just
Well,
specific sets of
right
people.
on.
Like everyone wants to
That's right.
everyone wants to silo everyone into these little pockets, and it's like, no, that's not what this country was built on. Like, we're a melting pot of individuals,
Right.
not little, just tribalism is essentially what's happening.
Yeah,
Like,
it's true.
and I feel like we're regenerating stereotypes and
Oh my
um, acting as if it's, kind. Like
God. That's right.
the new woke is all just regenerated
Oh God.
stereotypes masked in kindness.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you said it. That's why I have an issue with the kids. Because the kids are just gender non-conforming kids. That's all they are. They're just non-conforming to these gender
Right.
stereotypes, which is what we wanted to get to. I mean, that was what we sort of elevated this space and helped women get to another level and helped all of us not have to dress like a man or a woman if we don't want to be like that. And I do believe this new trans movement is regressive in what you just said, like going back to if a kid thinks that they're a girl, they must be a
Mm-hmm.
girl. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? Kids think they're all kinds of stuff.
Yep, exactly.
It's and so all in the name of trans rights. So, as an elder in this community, I can tell you we have trans rights. We have a lot of trans rights, more than I think these young people even have
It's funny that
should.
you say that because a lot of people don't realize how many laws there actually are for things.
That's right. They only focus on the negative. Did you notice
Yes,
that?
totally.
It's all like what we don't have. But, and I keep telling people you can't always say what you don't have. What do you actually have? You're not, the glass full
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing, half full, and it's the same thing. Why don't you just look around
Exactly.
and see what you actually
Look at what you
have?
have. Be grateful for what you have. Do some research on what you have. Like,
Right on. Right on. Oh my gosh, my friend. And not that I keep going back to my time, it was the Wild West, you didn't get anything, nothing. Nobody wanted you to transition. The fact that everyone is like bending over for trans people these
yes,
days is what more do you
it's
want?
weird.
It's weird. It is weird. As a transsexual person, I find it really weird how trans has dominated the world's sort of narrative on some level. I don't
And it's
understand how
funny
we.
because, like, and it's not even about gender anymore. Like, trans anything at this point. And I'm just like,
Yep.
wow, we've definitely fallen off a cliff. Like
Yes,
what the
I
hell?
think so. And you and I are considered like, whether well, I don't care about your politics. I honestly don't. But we were considered this sort of far right
Hmm.
people like us who have these opinions in our community. They immediately throw these sort of
It's funny
slimy
because I
words
don't
at
agree
you.
with
Or
either side, and I
neither do
and
I. Neither do I.
I tell the people that I work with this too, because like I
Yeah,
I I don't agree, especially with the current administration. Like I just don't like
that's
they
right.
have
Me neither.
fallen into the trap of just idolizing the trans community and giving them everything that they want, not what they need.
That's right. Oh, great statement. Great statement. Beautifully said. But there's a reason. I feel like we're now a political pawn,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're being totally used in
Yes.
politics to such a level.
Same
It's
with black
absurd
people,
that I
same
can't even
with
believe
Asian
it.
people, same
Yes,
with Hispanics.
yes.
Like,
There you go. It's a way to divide us all, right? It's a way to say, well, black people over here, Asians over here, trannies over
mm-hmm.
here. You know what I mean? And like we're all fighting
Yeah.
each other, and we all should be sort of helping each other get. I don't understand, my friend, because you said it earlier. All you want to do is live your life, and all you want to do is just be this person of happiness, and your transition gave you that, which is why I believe that you really are this person, because that's the whole point of transitioning, is to be happy, not to be angry and disconnected and go after the world. It's bizarre. Why are so many trans people unhappy? Do you have a thought?
Because there's something deeper. There's always something deeper.
Not being addressed.
Always.
Yeah, I agree. It's not being addressed. It's not being addressed. So, right, trauma is a lot, and most people have some trauma. I don't care if you're trans or not. Right?
That's something I feel like isn't necessarily talked about as much.
That's right.
People that transition due to trauma.
Yes. Yeah. And they're transitioning to sort of alleviate this trauma that probably has nothing to
Exactly.
do with dysphoria, because they're not even getting a diagnosis of
Exactly.
gender dysphoria, which is so bizarre that you could actually self-diagnose. You could say I'm trans with no diagnosis. That don't people understand how dangerous that is? Well, I mean, we're seeing it now.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. I was just like, well, I mean,
yeah,
I witnessed a little bit of what Chloe was talking about as far as like just all the social media stuff, and as far as like Matt Walsh has been showing some stuff on Vanderbilt and all those other places, and I'm just like, wow, like people really are like wanting to blind themselves from all this horrific happening, and it's just like, no, it's not cool. I'm blind and I'm not okay with it. Like, why are you blinding yourself from
right on.
Like, come on.
Right on. Great. I think people don't like to see, people don't want to see things they don't want to see. They just don't. So that's why they turn. Also, the trans community has become so violent on some level and so angry and pushed back. It's hurting us because now people don't want to listen to us because they think we're all fucking nuts.
Yeah.
They do. They think we're nuts. Like, look, we're not.
I don't blame them.
Me neither.
That is due to TikTok.
Me neither. Oh my gosh! Don't get me started on it. I'm on TikTok. I'm on there to try to tell kids, hey, if you want to talk to an older trans person, I can give you the tea about what's going to happen when you start that stuff. You're not being told, they're not being honest about what they're giving.
I can't get on people. TikTok. I refuse since it started. Like I had an ex. He was like 20 years older than me. And I was 20 at the time, so that was a huge difference.
Okay.
And he was sitting on TikTok just laughing his ass off, and I'm just like, how are you so entertained by this? And I have no interest in it whatsoever. Like, that's so bizarre to me.
It's kind of interesting.
But it shows to me with other experiences that I've had with older people, maturity is definitely not an age.
No, this is actually true. I just interviewed a young woman that's going to be on my channel, a young trans woman who actually transitioned at 15. When, I'm not okay with transitioning, but wait till you see her story is different than, I also believe there are some young people who might benefit, but it's very, very few, not massive amount of 10-year-olds taking hormone blockers. That's an experiment.
Gone through puberty, because that's right. If they are planning to transition and they do decide to have bottom surgery, they won't be able to. Hence, Jazz Jennings. Right.
There you go. The penis doesn't grow, and you need the penis.
Sorry
to make the
about Jazz Jennings.
And
My bad.
You're right. Oh, I know. Well, it's sad. It
I
does
really
sadden
I
me. I
really
think she
don't
got.
I really
It's
don't like using
sad.
her as an example because like it really
Yeah,
sucks.
I know. Yeah, I agree.
They've really done her wrong.
I am so on board with you, my friend. I think it's actually I can't watch that show.
No.
It's depressing, and I feel bad for her. Yeah, I think they're. It's just gross. It is. It's this is that's the other thing. Trans isn't like a thing where you transition and now you're like in the world you're like running around telling everyone you're trans and we I from what I remember we transitioned to become men and women and just
Yep.
go back in the world and do our stuff and trans is just sort of our
Yep.
condition and right and now it's become this identity choice which it's so my theory is that there's this idea that there's power in numbers so if you recruit more and more people to be trans then all see
Mhm.
what happens so you have all these young people who are saying they're trans and now the pharmaceutical companies medical
I mean, to
mm-hmm.
me, it feels like a form of extremism, honestly.
Yeah, for sure,
Especially if
for sure.
they're trying to target children and infiltrate policy like they've have.
Yep,
So that
yep.
in and of itself is the basis of
Yep,
extremism and the fact that we're so again
that's right.
blinded to it. Pun not intended this time. Um,
Right on.
is kind of disgusting and honestly puts us at a very very weak point for other countries to take advantage of us.
That's right. That's so true.
Look at what
I mean,
China
I
has
don't know
done
what's
with
going
TikTok.
on.
China owns TikTok.
I know. I know. It's so
And we're
scary.
just blindly following everything that they're feeding us.
We are. We are. And dumbing us down. I
Totally.
believe they're dumbing
Totally.
us down. Yep, totally. Because now when you dumb everyone down, they're easier to
Exactly.
control. That's right. You can see it. You can see how people just blindly follow this trans thing. And, even non
Mm-hmm.
trans people,
Yes.
that's the problem for me. The non trans people who are
Mm-hmm.
allies and attacking people like me and you because we don't. Wait a minute, you're not even trans. It's like a
Yes.
white person coming in and speaking
Yes.
over black people. Like,
Yes.
what? Sit
Wow.
down.
Yeah, I had a roommate that did that, and I was just like, "Wow, really?
Oh,
You're gonna sit
damn.
here and tell me
Oh,
that this non-binary person is more valid than me in my experience and what I've been
wow.
telling you the past
Unbelievable.
X amount of years." Okay, cool.
Yep. 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 I mean, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. We're at other people not trans telling us we are
and it's
transphobic
just
or
like
X, Y,
do
and Z.
you realize how like how absurd you sound?
No, they don't because they get
Yes,
accolades for it. They get like, oh,
yes,
you're
they
so
do.
great. You're our trans ally. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, so you could use J.K. Rowling as an example. How everyone just came down
Hmm.
on that woman. She never said anything
No,
transphobic. She said women X, Y, and Z, and she's a woman, and she gets to
exactly.
say that whether you like it or not. I don't give
Freedom
a
of
heck if
speech.
you're trans. That and listen to her. Like, come on, that's so misogynist. That movement against J.K. Rowling is a misogynist movement, as far as I'm concerned. It has nothing to do with
Totally.
trans people. No, it's women hating and gross and nasty. Um, we're gonna end here soon because we've been on
Oh
an hour
wow.
almost already. Because you're awesome. I know we could literally do this for hours.
Oh.
You're awesome. I totally love you. So before though, I wanna just ask you if there's anything you kind of want to put out there in the world as a trans woman that maybe you want to say that you kind of feel that people need to hear from a trans woman. That's anything. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just trying to say if maybe you have a little wisdom or something that you could offer from a different point of view.
Um.
Because we only hear about these trans women that are like, I have my period, and trans women are women, and and biology doesn't count, and and we're real women just like you, and trans women aren't a threat to women in sports. I mean, those are just some
I
talking
would
points.
say, don't forget where you started. Don't forget where you started.
Brilliant. Beautiful. And look how powerful you are. And you have all these things going on with you. But I think you're such a great role model, number one. Number two, I think you're just a great human being for the world to see. That you overcome. You're not a victim.
I refuse
You're
to
not
be.
victimize yourself. Though you could. If anyone could do it, my friend, you got a lot of things you could actually use to but that's why you're so powerful. You know that. That's why. You're not taking that victim card.
That's been burnt.
Right on, friend. Which is so incredible. The world needs to see people more and more like you, especially young people. I sure hope some young people see this and, see that they don't have to be mean and angry.
If they're able to take something away from it, great. Awesome. I am definitely here for that. I'm also not necessarily here for the admiration either. But, I'm just...
I know that. I can tell. But that's what's so great about you. That's why I think you're great, because you're not here to get the accolades. You're here because you're real and you care about our community. I believe you do.
I just want the best for everybody. And yeah, it may be shitty sometimes in some areas, but I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
So good. That's the best thing ever. Don't forget it, people. It's the way the cookie crumbles. Deal with it. You're amazing, my friend. So, okay, we're going to end here, and I want to tell everybody thanks for watching, and please give Audrie a bunch of love in the comments, and, if you want, I'll put your social media stuff here if you want people to be able to contact you.
I'm not opposed to that.
Because I'm sure they're going to want... Great. They're going to want to. You're a lovely, lovely human being. So don't forget to subscribe, like, do all those things, because I do love it. You do it. But that's it. I'll see you guys on the next week.